the east, you know what I'm saying, with the Nile Valley. But the Nile, that just show you how superior the Nile is to even have, you know, some notches above even great rivers like the Niger and the Congo, even having something up on them. And these are great, great rivers. These are the greatest rivers on the planet. There has been no other river to produce such great civilizations such as the Nile and the Niger. It's just nowhere in Asia where you could go, and in the ancient world, you are producing that many great civilization with monuments that's still here today. You see what I'm saying? So now when we look at this river, we see that the river is flowing from south to north. It starts at Lake Victoria. We're talking about the White Nile. It starts at Lake Victoria. It even has tributaries on the other side. And it flows down into Egypt. And then you have the Blue Nile, which starts at Lake Tana, Tana. This is the Blue Nile. The White Nile and the Blue Nile meet up at Khartoum in Sudan. Okay, that's where it becomes one river. And if from that point, it flows down into Egypt as one river. Now, the Blue Nile, which comes up out of Ethiopia, which comes up out of the mountain regions. And you're going to see that the pyramids is only a reflection of the mountain regions from which they came from. See, Egypt is the South recreated in stone. When you look at the columns, the papyrus columns, the lotus columns, this is the natural environment of the Nile Valley. They deified the environment. They deified the zoo types. So the temples and the pyramids are only the reflection of the southern regions from which they came from, which they call the Holy Land. The ancient Egyptians called the lands from where the beginning of the rivers started from as the land of the gods, where the gods came from. So if the ancient Egypt, this is deep. And so you all over the goddamn planet fucking off. I have to give you orientation. Thank you, Baba. Say, Baba Seti, thank you for, goddamn it, showing us the origin. And so we can have orientation. Because if you ain't got your proper origin, you cannot have your proper orientation. And so you can't put nothing in the GPS and get nowhere, nigga, because you don't have a proper starting point. But when I give you this starting point, and I give you this origin, and I give you a brief understanding and a viewing of our civilizations all over the planet, you're going to say, God damn, Seti, you didn't open up a portal into my goddamn soul, nigga, and I see much deeper than I ever seen before. Let's go. We looking at the different terrains in Africa. And you can see now the Great Lakes region where the Nile starts. You got which, you know, criminally renamed Lake Victoria, which is the largest lake in Africa. Then you got Lake right up under that. You got Lake Tanganyika, and then at the bottom you got Lake Malawi. These are freshwater lakes. See, we talking something now. You got a mighty river such as the Nile, and then you got the Congo, a sister river. This is the most powerful sister river system on the planet. God damn, you talking about the Congo is almost, I think it might be almost 3,000 miles long, if I'm not mistaken. You see what I'm saying? And the Nile is about 4,000 miles. You see what I'm saying? So you talking over 7,000 miles of river system. And not just river system, you're also talking about the basins, the Congo Basin and the Nile Basin where the water overflow, and you got swamp regions, you got a lot of vegetation within those regions, a lot of animal life. So most definitely, Central East Africa with the Great Lakes, the freshwater lakes, with the Nile and the Congo, with the rainforest. This is what you call the Garden of Eden. There is no more land rich area on the planet Earth outside of this area. You see what I'm saying? The rainforest is the lungs of the planet. So right there, that shows you that we got the freshest air. We got all the herbs that we need. We got all the food and vegetation for our animals. Okay? It's enough vegetation for man and animal to exist in Africa. Okay, so there's no need to kill the animals. You understand what I'm saying? Only to keep a number that where they don't overrun us and shit. But you know what I'm saying? But to show you not only African kind, but animal kind. When you talking about the greatest animals on the earth, the elephant, the gorilla, the giraffe, the lion, the hippopotamus, the crocodile. You see what I'm saying? All these other, the leopard, the zebra, the cheetah. You got all the most magnificent animals on the planet is in this region. So this is the Garden of Eden, and that there is no other land mass nowhere on the earth with these type of land jewels. And we ain't even got into the precious minerals yet. Okay? So now this is late. This is the Blue Nile. I was on Lake Tanner, and I came into the portion where it became the Nile River. You understand what I'm saying? I sailed right on through that little portion down there. But this is showing you, this is where all the silk that comes down into Egypt. See, it comes up out of Ethiopia. And so it was that black silk that fertile and made Egypt so fertile. So that's why you see there that Ethiopia geographically is the mother geologically is the mother of Egypt. Okay? Because if that rich silk did not come down that river like that and plant that silk down there, then Egypt wouldn't have been as prosperous as it was. But see, this is just a geological wonder of Africa. You see what I'm saying? And so even to date, there's been a dispute between Egypt and Ethiopia because Ethiopia is about to build a dam not, far from Lake Tana. And so Egypt knows that a large portion of the water that comes into the Nile that flows down into Egypt comes out of Ethiopia. So that show you that the Africans up south are the masters of the river, because at any point in time, they want to cut that water off. All they have to do is dam the river, and they could starve. They could, you know what I'm saying? They could make Egypt die of thirst. You see what I'm saying? Because they would have been to cut the damn water off. So that's why the conquerors knew that you got to get not just a little part of the river, you got to get the whole of the river. If you ain't got the source, you ain't got the most powerful part of the river. And so the Blue Nile, even though it's shorter than the White Nile, the Blue Nile is actually the more powerful of the two. And so they both meet up at Khartoum in Sudan and become one river. But the Blue Nile is really what's pushing at that point. When they meet up, the Blue Nile is basically taking over the flow of the river. Okay? So we showing you how the little brother, and then you have the Atbara, which is also about Ethiopia. They rarely try to show you that river, because that's going to show you another branch that has something to do with the founding of ancient Egypt and Nubia and so on, and because everybody on the river had access to everybody on the river. All these are brother and sister rivers connected, and Egypt was the end of the river where all our African greatness, you know what I'm saying, was in one place in one time. And it amazed the world. All the greatness on all the rivers came down in that last part of the Nile, and they settled in Egypt, and they produced the greatest civilization that has ever existed on this planet. So all them rivers was a part of ancient Egypt. This is another one. And this one, you can see that they are tributaries. They're not showing you the whole river. They're not showing you the thousands of tributaries that's coming off of this river. If you see the white area in the back, that's the Nile Basin. So that shows you how much vegetation and water overflows with precipitation, overflow from the Nile to show you the life that is there. That's just not no goddamn desert. That's a river basin with nothing but animals and different vegetation and herbs, all type of animal life. This is the most widely as far as animals and human life and African life and animal life and vegetation life, there is no more precious uh land mass on the planet Earth.